Linked up back with another podcast. Today we have Anna Sobonja here. How you doing?
Pretty good.
You
just got back from the gym. So
how was it? Did you get a killer workout?
Leg day? I fly tomorrow.
Bro. So you fly tomorrow. How do you feel about that?
I'm kind of, honestly, I've never been nervous about flying until today.
Why?
Because it's been a long time since I've flown anywhere, traveled, and I'm just out of the flow of traveling.
So you're going back home. So speaking about home, you know, we tried to have this podcast like a while ago. Didn't really work out, but now you're here, and we discussed a lot last time. But everyone listening right now, we're not going to be talking about what we usually talk about on this podcast, which is crypto, investing, all that stuff. We get into that like later on if we really want to. I got you. But like mainly we want to talk about mental health and you know your story, because your story is actually insane.
I got a lot of backstory with mental health in my life.
So you're a social media star. You know, you're a dancer, but you also have a creative aspect to you. You're an artist. You're an insane artist.
Thank you.
So like let's get into like your story. Like what happened in your childhood. You know, you grew up that you basically grew up, being like the leader of your family.
So yeah,
basically.
So growing up, I had never had the best relationship with my entire family in a sense. I was kind of the odd one out of my family always. I was the kind of like black sheep of the family, but so with my parents finances were always a difficult thing in our family. So with my parents, my mom worked 2 jobs, my dad was always working, so my parents were really home.
Your mom was always stressed, your parents were always stressed about money?
That was just since I grew up, financial stress has been a huge topic in my life. So, and that was a huge thing that affected, because my dad also he has PTSD from, he was in war with the war Croatia had in the past, so he has PTSD from that, and he's had a lot of he's dealt with depression himself, and he was an alcoholic while I was growing up, and kind of verbally abusive alcoholic.
So how was that growing up with your dad that was an alcoholic, and was he physically abusive?
No, you could sometimes see that it's just like his fists would clench, but he would never go to the physical side, but very verbally abusive, which in my mind is sometimes also a lot more hurtful and harmful than physical stuff, because verbal and that shit affects your mental.
Was he verbal with everybody in your family, or is it just your siblings and your mom?
It was mainly directed towards my mom. My dad would take a lot of anger out on my mom, so that's where I jumped in from a very young age. From I was 6 years old, the first time I remember. He would have these episodes whenever something would tick him off, and he would just lash out and lose it, and he would always target my mom. And since I was a little kid, I hated that, and I always wanted to kind of just protect my mom, and I took it as a protective. I don't know why. I have an older brother. I don't know why I chose.
How old were you when you first saw your dad be mentally abusing to your mom?
The first time I remember was around 6 years old, and that's the moment I first saw it. It's like I don't think I'll ever be able to forget it. It was kind of just like the start of a lot. But from that first point, like me being at 6 years old, a tiny little girl going up against a grown-ass man, I right off the bat was just stood up to my dad, like stepped in between my mom and my dad, and was just like talking back to him. Like imagine like a little child girl, an old man.
What was your dad's reaction?
And I continued doing that my entire life. I always did that. Anytime he would blow up,
so ever since you were 6 years old, from then on, you was like, I'm gonna stick up for my mom and my family, because this isn't right. What he's doing is not right.
Because both my siblings, I had an older brother, yes, but he's very closed off, very like introverted, very to himself. He kind of closed himself in a box, because it is like emotional trauma you go through.
Yeah.
And so I took the path of like, no, I need help, versus both my siblings kind of like closed themselves off. So he never really did much. And it's like, I'm not saying this in like a way to bash him at all, but it's just like he closed himself off. Everyone reacts differently.
Did you ever have conversations with your brother saying, hey, like, why aren't you sticking up for your siblings? Because I mean, as a male in the family, males are more protective over their family in just a broad sense. But you stepped in as a woman, and you were like, no, I'm gonna step in and change that. And you being a woman, like,
I mean, for me it was more so like I saw that he wasn't doing much, and it's like my dad, like obviously kids seeing their own dad going against their mom like in a negative way is kind of like traumatic.
Yeah.
So I just saw that, and I was like, no one's doing anything, and it's like my mom, like it's my mom, like I don't want anything to happen to her. So to me, it was just like I'm not gonna just sit here and do nothing.
So you dealing with that, and then you having to deal with other things going on with you yourself personally, because you said you went through hardships within yourself.
Yeah. So I've since I was a child, I've always been very much in my head. Like since I was little, had constant conversations with myself in my head and like trying to figure things out. And it's like how I can help this, what I can do. I was always a helper, and I kind of explain myself as like the glue of the family, because my dad told me multiple times that it's just like you're the thing that keeps me connected to this family. Even now, because my parents split up when I was in my sophomore year of high school, and both my siblings do not speak to my dad. They don't want really anything to do with my dad.
To this day.
My dad constantly complains to me like, your siblings won't talk to me. I reach out to them, but they're not doing anything. But I'm like, is it
because of what they did to your mom? And
so for them, I think again it goes off like we view things differently. I kind of still, I'm like, okay, my dad fucked up. Like, yes, you definitely damaged our family a lot, but you're still my dad, so I have to hold that respect to you. I'm not going to completely cut you out.
Yeah.
What your opinions, do I process them, and do they matter that much to me anymore? Not necessarily that much, but you're still my dad, so I'll show that respect to you. That's why I stay in touch. My siblings, like I said, they're more closed off, so they kind of not run away necessarily, but it's like anything they don't want to deal with, they're like,
yeah, I kind of relate to this with when you say your dad is mentally, was mentally abusive to the family, because I grew up, and I didn't have the greatest relationship with my dad when I was younger, and there was mental abuse, and but I had to overcome it. I didn't talk to him for 2 years. There was a period where, I said, I don't want to, my younger brother is autistic, and, this is not okay. Okay. And so I didn't talk to my dad for about 2 years, and I actually I've never said this ever. And,
there you go.
and I relate to that, because I'm like, you would have, some like backlash to that if you went through that as a child.
Yeah.
And even to this day, it's still going to be in your head.
I mean, for me, it was just, I don't know. I've also always tried to like keep everything good and leveled, and it's like in the middle. Like I was always kind of mediator too, so it's like I always hated trouble. I hated drama. I hated like any sort of negative. Like I always tried to do my best to avoid any of that and fix anything I could. So in my mind, like my parents split within one night. My entire family left.
And how long were they together for?
I think maybe like 30 years they were married.
30 years. Yeah.
20 something, 30 years. Yeah.
My parents were together for 11 years. Never married though, but I remember I think I was like 6 or 7 years old, and they split ways, and it's kind of a traumatic like experience as well, because then you're like, you have to grow up with your mom, and she has to take charge of like all of the responsibilities.
So it's crazy though, because ever since I was 10 years old, I remember I was always telling my mom to leave my dad, and she wouldn't do it because she thought it was best for the kids to keep the family together. But I was constantly telling her from a very young age, like, split ways, this is going to be better, just split ways. And she finally did it sophomore year, because one of the episodes he had was very, very bad. So in one night, we stayed at our neighbor's house one night, and within 3 days, my mom, my sister, and I moved into a one-bedroom, one bathroom apartment, because my brother was in college, so he was staying there. But me, my mom, and my sister stayed in a one-bedroom, one bathroom apartment for a year until we tried to figure shit out. I was letting my dad drive me to school. That was the only time I was spending with him. My sister did not want anything to do with him. And then eventually my mom still lives in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment with my brother, my sister, and her back home, which I was living in with them before, but since I'm out now. But it's always been, with that all being said, I didn't react to things very well. I think now, at least, I've learned a lot about how to react towards those kind of things, because in the past, like you asked, if I ever talked to my brother about all that stuff and whatever, but I would lash out a little bit towards my brother, being like, you're the dude, you're the older man in the family. Why am I having to do this? Why are you sitting back doing nothing?
100%.
And so it would get frustrating for me, but I understand it a little more now, and it's like I am glad I kind of took that position, because it helped a lot with making me who I am now.
Yeah. And with like making you who you are, I mean, you went through other things, as a child, personally as well.
So with all that, going on already from a very young age in my life. When I was going into 7th grade of this, I've never talked about online ever.
Really?
Actually, any of this.
She's about to spill some tea.
But going into 7th grade, so summer from 6th to 7th grade, I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and anorexia. I went to the hospital twice with a heartbeat of 30 beats per minute, so I was very near death. And I got sent to a rehab home center kind of thing, and I missed the first 3 months of my 7th grade, first 3 months of middle school.
What?
Because I was in that rehab center.
What? So this must be like really traumatizing to think about, because you being that young and having to go diagnosed with all those 3 things, and then having to go through rehab. And was it hard, like telling your friends?
So that's the crazy part. Once I got released, which a funny thing about how I got released was when I was leaving, they told me I was the fastest patient they've ever had to leave. Typically, people are in there for at least a year-ish.
Do you remember like being in there though?
Oh,
right?
I remember the whole routine. We woke up at like 7 a.m. They took your vitals, like you got your blood drawn sometimes, like this, that. And then you had to meal plan, because it was a rehab center for eating disorders, but it was still focused around a lot of mental health, so help with like depression and all that stuff. And you had therapy sessions every day, and it's like, it was very restricted.
Did you want to talk to the therapist? Were you open with it?
Oh my gosh. Because when you're in that mindset, it's not how I describe it now, and how my mom also describes it now when we talk about it. I couldn't communicate or see my family for the first month I was there. I mean, I had got one phone call a week on Sunday.
One phone call a week.
20 minutes to talk to my family, and that's it.
So you're basically like in jail.
In a sense, yes, but it was still like, not that they didn't treat us poorly. I will say that in the one I went to, at least, they didn't treat us poorly, so I'm happy for that. But also, when you're in that mindset, it's not you necessarily. So I would send my mom emails, because I could send emails. I could go on the computer and like do that kind of stuff. I read back some of the emails I sent my mom. Oh my God.
What's like one of the craziest emails that you sent your mom?
No, it was just be an essay of me lashing out at my mom, being like, how the fuck could you do this to me? Like, I hate you. Like, this is so messed up. Like, how could you do this? Like, you just ditched on me. You left me. And it's like, because when you're in that mindset.
So you had like, you had a sense of abandonment.
My entire life. That's what led me into all that, which is something I found, because there was one therapy session I had with the therapist, and we had this huge like paper, and we mapped out basically and like dug deep into my mind and being like, where could this have possibly started? Mm-hmm. And my biggest thing is like, since I was a kid, I literally remember when my sister was first born. My sister's 5 years younger than I am. I remember telling my mom, being like, I get no attention. Like, she gets all the attention. Like, I'm just forgotten, and it's like this, that. And it's like, I've always kind of been the forgotten kid, which is, you know, a stereotype also for the middle child.
Yeah.
But
exactly. Yeah, I'm a middle child as well.
So I was always kind of like, I'm always forgotten, but I feel like I do the most in the family to try to help. And it's like, and I think I always
almost like you're an outcast.
Yeah. So pretty much. And it's like, I've always kind of called myself an odd one out of kind of everything, but it's like, I don't really complain about it. I kind of like it. Yeah. I'm like, it's fun. In the past,
so you not getting that attention, were you more like doing your own thing, like through your childhood? You know, you're always by yourself.
I always kind of felt like I had to. Like, it's also like I said, my parents were always working, so I took the parent role of raising myself, pretty much, raising my brother and my sister as well. And it's like, that's why I know how to cook too, is because I was always cooking for us. I was always cleaning from a very young age. I was doing all these like very adult things because I felt like I had to, because it was like, okay, well, no one's doing this. It's like, no one's paying attention to me. Like, it's just like, I wanted to mature from a very, very young age. Yeah. I've always wanted to be grown.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, I always still view it as like, I didn't not enjoy my childhood necessarily, but I didn't take advantage of being a child and like a kid. And it's like not having those worries and responsibilities, because I threw them on to myself from a very, very young age.
And when you left from there, the rehab center, how did you feel?
So that was a whole thing on its own too. I mean, it felt really good, again, because they told me I was the fastest patient they had to leave. Like, they were like, 3 months just in here is crazy. Like, the fact that you made that much progress and you're already getting discharged after 3 months is crazy. Like, that's insane. And so that made me feel really good. But they also had like some requirements after I was leaving. That like, I had a meal plan, like a nutritional, and I had to.
Did you follow it, or?
That's the funny part. Because I was also supposed to go to weekly therapy sessions. I not lost it necessarily, but my mom was about to take me to a therapy session. I was like, no, there's no way I'm going. My mom's like, you have to. It's mandatory. I'm like, not me. Sorry. I'll do this on my own. And my mom's like, no, give it one shot. I went to one therapy session, my first one, left crying. And I was like, Mom, not a chance. Trust me. Like, if this doesn't go well, if I start going down a bad path again, bring me here. Cool. I get it. For now, give me a chance. Watch me do it on my own. Same with the meal plan. Didn't follow it. I'm like, I'm going to eat what I want. I'm going to make my own food. So I started cooking for myself after that.
And things started to get better.
And I never went back to that mental. I continued to just get better.
So fast forward to high school, and you're in high school now. You're still dealing with depression in high school?
I mean, because I always say it, I'm like, it's not like it ever gets cured. Like, I don't think depression is something that's curable. You just learn how to cope with it.
I've never dealt with depression, so I can't really speak on it. So what's some advice you would give to someone, that's been dealing with depression their whole life, and maybe anorexia and anxiety, growing up, even someone younger listening in?
Biggest thing is I can say is, like, it doesn't necessarily define you. It does not, like, you being depressed, or it's like dealing with these like mental problems, and it's like, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean like and also don't compare yourself to other people. Like, that's the worst thing you could possibly do at that point, because I view my biggest thing, how I got led into anorexia a lot, was also like, I've looked at like models a lot, and it's like all these people, and I was like, damn, they get all this attention. It's like, they look like that. I want to
look like that.
You know what I mean? So my biggest thing is, like, do not compare yourself to other people. Be fully yourself, which is so cliche, and it's like everyone says it, but it's like, honestly, like, because crazy enough, I feel like it's taken me until literally the past maybe 4 or 5 months to fully become myself. Because even my mom said the other day on the phone, she was like, you are more yourself now than you've ever been. It's like, even when you were home, you were always trying to switch something just a little bit to like fit for people. And it's like, so people would like this, that. And it's like, now I feel like you're fully just doing you, and it's like not caring. And it's crazy because it's such a cliche, and I think that's why a lot of people are like, I'm not going to listen.
And you're so young. You're so young too.
Only 19.
You're only 19 years old. You're only 19 years old, and you live in Los Angeles, and you have your own place, and you have your own kitty cat.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into TikTok, because you have a good amount of following. What is it? 2.8 million.
Yeah.
You're coming up on 3 million, and you you used to do dancing videos in the garage on your TikToks, and that's when you started blowing up.
So
and so, like, feeling as an outcast, you did this TikTok thing. You were mostly by yourself, right?
I was always by
yourself. And no one in your high school was doing social media, right?
No, not like that.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, when you started, how did that feel? What was the backlash from the people, from your friends?
So it's funny though, because I first got TikTok in 2019 when it was like first blowing up. And I just started posting like random, like relatable content. Like, this is like my old videos. And I just started posting like relatable content. And I got kicked out of my friend group at the time because of it, because they all started shitting on me and were like, this is so dumb. Like, these are directed towards us. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And I lost all my friends because of it. And I was like,
and did you care at all?
Oh yeah, at the time, because I would say.
Were you thinking of quitting TikTok because your friends left you?
I did stop, but it's like at the time I didn't really have that much of a following. It was just me, just for fun. And then COVID happened and quarantine hit. And quarantine, I was like, I'm not seeing anybody. Why not just make a brand new TikTok account? And just start posting what the fuck I want. A funny thing is, I blocked everyone I knew on that TikTok account to make sure no one would see it. So I just blocked everyone I knew and just started posting whatever. And then I went to an empty parking garage because I hated being around people. I hated people seeing me do it. And I was just like, why not try to do a dance TikTok? I didn't dance at all at the time. But
so
I was
you never had dancing experience
still
before?
To this day, never. Like, TikTok's the only dance I know. Like, that's it. Like, I've like self-taught in a sense, but through TikTok. Like,
that's crazy, bro.
But I just filmed that one dancing video in that empty parking garage, and it blew up, and I was like, okay, let's try that again. Like, okay. And it blew up again.
How many views did it get?
So my first one got like 2.7 mil.
2.7 million. And then your reaction to that, because when I first started TikTok and my first video blew up, it got like 1 million views, and I woke up the next day, and I was in high school too. I think I was a junior or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I was in high school. I woke up and it was like 99 notifications on my phone, and I just keep refreshing 99, 99. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is like bizarre. So I would think that your experience would be like 2.7 million.
Again, it was quarantine, so I really wasn't seeing anybody. I was doing everything just completely on my own. And so I went to this garage, filmed this video, and I was like, post it, fuck it. And I'm driving back home, and then at the time I was teaching myself how to skateboard too. So I went to this empty parking lot I know where I would skateboard for a little bit, like, nah, just whatever. Got back home, went on TikTok, and I was like, why is this at like 300,000 views?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, what is going on? And then I just kept refreshing and kept going up, and I was like, this shit's crazy. Dude, what?
Yeah, and you never expected it.
No, I mean, it's not, I didn't expect it, but I always kind of, this is thanks to Emma Chamberlain. Once I saw Emma Chamberlain start posting and blow up, I was like, I feel like her and I are similar on some aspects.
Yeah.
And so I was like, on the like, she doesn't give a shit side of things.
Yeah.
It's like, neither do I. And I was like, if she can do that, I feel like I could. So I always kind of had this idea that's like, I could possibly make it into this world somehow. But it's like, it was never like, I totally expected it to happen. I was
so
like,
you started just posting,
that was the thing.
and then it just, and then another video, a million.
It just kept, so it kept going for, in 2 weeks I gained 200K followers, and then it just died. And then it just slowed the fuck down. I was like, oh no. I was like, what is going on? No. But I kept posting because I was like, I'm not going to give up on this. Like, I got that first bit of recognition for some sort of reason, so I'm just going to keep trying to go with it. And I think that's the biggest thing when people ask, like, how can I grow, is like, just don't stop, no matter what.
Consistency is everything, right, on TikTok.
Like, don't stop, even if views are low, if it's not going the way you want it,
doesn't
don't
really
stop.
matter.
Because February came along, so I blew up October, from November to February, dead. Everything was just dead. February comes along. In February, I went from 300K to $1 million in that month.
Wow.
And I was like, oh shit, okay, here
this
we
shit's
go.
working.
And then I visited LA for the first time end of February for a week. Yeah. Met some people out here.
Let's get into that. Let's get into LA. So you blow up on TikTok. You figure out, you know, what your niche is basically on TikTok, because you're still dancing now, right?
Yeah. I'm still trying. I want to start doing a little more like personality content.
Yeah.
But
you're still dancing, but they still love your dance videos, and now you're doing a mix with your personality and dancing now. So you came to LA. Who were you staying with when you came to LA?
So when I first visited, I visited first my dad, and we stayed in a hotel room because my dad's like, I need to come with you the first time you're coming.
So what was your experience like in LA the first time? Was it like, whoa?
I was just so scared.
Really?
I was so closed off. Like I came to LA like a lost little puppy. I was like, oh my God, all these people. Oh my God. Because I was like, a lot of the people I knew already and I've seen on TikTok before. And it's like, so a lot of them I followed already. And I was like,
what like TikTokers were you hanging out with?
So at the time I was hanging out with, I knew Jeff. Jeff was the first person I met out here. Jeff Tings. And then I was hanging out with Jean Victor and it's like Zach Lugo at the time. It's like I was just meeting those people, just going around meeting a lot of people. It's not like I was fully hanging out with people yet, but just meeting around. And that was the first time I visited LA.
Are you still close with Zach?
So Zach and I are cool. We just don't talk like that anymore. But whenever I see him out, we're chilling, like just say hi to each other, chit chat a little bit. So we're cool. Yeah,
I've heard great and bad things about Zach. But Zach is the guy with his little brother, right? Yeah,
that's not his brother.
Who is it? That's cousin. His
Trey.
cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, his cousin. Oh,
I was there when Trey first started. And I was like, oh my God. And now I look at where he's at, and I'm like,
yeah. Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're doing great. Yeah, they're doing great. So, you stayed with them, and then you stayed in LA for a week, 2 weeks?
The first time I visited, I was just in LA for a week with my dad in a hotel room.
Great experience.
It was cool. It was definitely cool because it was my first time being in this world. And then a month later, I was like, I'm coming back. And I came here by myself, was in a hotel for a week by myself, was supposed to fly back home, told my mom, I'm staying another week, Mom. Like, sorry. And then I stayed with Zach.
And your nationality is Croatian. So like your mom was like pissed. She was like, "No, you're getting home, right?" No.
Because I was finishing up senior year in high school, so I was still in school during this time.
This is great because this is the same thing like that was happening to me.
So because my parents, no one in my family just has social media. My brother has an Instagram, but no one uses it. No one's like, my parents don't know social media at all.
Yeah.
So they're like, what? My mom was like, Anna, you're crazy. And I remember telling my mom I'm going to move out to LA. My mom's like, no. And I'm like, Mom.
I told my mom that too. And she's like, yo, shut up. You're not leaving me. Shut up.
So many conversations telling her I was going to move here and her not saying no.
I told her, I was like, Mom, trust me, I'm moving here.
No, yeah. I kept telling her, I was like, just wait.
Yeah,
She's
I'm like, yeah.
And then because the second time I visited out here, I was supposed to be here for a week, but I ended up being here for 3 weeks. And then once I got back home, I was like, Mom, I'm going out there. I don't care. Like, she was like, fine, you have to finish school though. That's it.
So you finished school and then you went.
I graduated. So I didn't even go to my graduation because I was packing up my room to move. Because I graduated high school 3 days later, dipped out.
Wow.
Here. So didn't even go to my graduation. It was so funny.
And at this point, all your friends from back home, you guys aren't even talking, right?
So I'm still very, very, so I got my basically sister. She's not my blood sister, but Lana, she's been my best friend since 7th grade. Still super close to her. She's my sister, like literally. And then I have a few of my guy friends. I'm still tight with them. But a lot of the girls I was friends with switched up real quick. And now even when I go home, because we're all still in the part of the same friend group, so when I go home, we meet up, act so different.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I'm like...
Yeah, you know what? Fuck them.
It's like, at this point, I'm just like, okay, you don't know anything. Like, calm down. You have your own idea in your head, but it's like, I don't care. Yeah. But it's like, don't expect me to be all buddy-buddy with you.
Yeah. We don't do fake shit.
No. Like.
So you came back to LA after, you told your mom, you know what, I'm gonna move to LA. And then she was like, no. And then you actually came here. And so what happened then? Because you were part of like a little group going on out in LA.
When I first, so it's crazy because I graduated high school and I just bought my plane ticket. I was like, I'm going out there. My mom was like, you don't even have a place to stay. And I'm like, Zach, thank you. Like, I so appreciate this so much. Let me stay with him for a week while I was touring apartments. So for that first week, I was here just touring apartments everywhere. Found a decently like affordable apartment in Hollywood. Yeah. Which you've seen.
Yeah, I've seen.
Oh my gosh.
I did.
At the time, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And then because I was just looking for a place. I needed a place.
Yeah, it was a place.
Exactly. So I just got it, and it's like, it was still my own place, which to me is still like a huge accomplishment because it's like.
Yeah, that's fucking amazing.
From the jump when I first got out here, I had my own place.
Yeah, that's fucking amazing.
So I just got that place, and I was like, we'll see where the fuck life's going to go. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll keep trying. And then LA happened. But,
Yeah.
And then I got thrown into the entire space here, and it's like this people and the world and like the whole like environment that's here, and I was just like, whoa, this is
different. This is a new perspective of life.
It was because I came here still being.
Did you even have money when you came out here?
So that was the thing even when I was home, the second I started making money, I saved every penny I made. So you've always been good with money. So because my family came from financial hardship, I was always so big on saving and being smart about it. That. So same. It happened crazy, but graduated high school, hit 10K in my bank account like that time too, and I was like, okay, I'm good now. Like, we're solid. We'll build from here. Yeah. And because it's like, so I just saved up every penny I was making. And you just moved and figured it out. Yeah, and then I was like, this is risky, I know, but me being me, I'm not gonna really give up on it. I'm just gonna keep trying to push it and see where it goes. It's like, this is a chance that not a lot of people get. So in my mind, because I had even family and some people being like, well, you're not going to college, you're just going to toss it away. And I'm like, well, here's the thing. College is always there. I can always go if I want to. This is like a chance. Like, I'm not going to probably get this again if I don't take it now. So it's like, might as well run with it, see where it goes. If it fails, college, great, cool. But it might not, but I'm never gonna know if I don't try it. Yeah, so. Me personally, I dropped out of high school and I didn't go to college, obviously. So I think that I did pretty good, and that everybody that said I quit my jobs for TikTok, because I live in LA, and and you live in LA and you did almost similar things. You didn't drop out of high school, but you didn't continue on and go to college. So like moving forward, you're in LA and now you got part of friend groups. And you had some drama with people, and
I don't know if I should bring it up, but I mean, are you and Taylor Holder are good now, or
Oh
what?
God, I should have known this was coming. I should have known this was coming. But okay, no, we're not good. I'll just say that.
You and Taylor Holder's not good now?
Was
I
that
thought
not
you guys were
obvious?
good.
No.
Oh no?
What makes
Oh.
you think that?
I don't know. Maybe
Anyways.
things change.
No. All I'm gonna say in regards to that is, I personally don't believe he's a good human being in any sort of way. I think he is, but I tell everybody who asks me about this, I just don't want, as long as he's out of my life and does not interfere with my life in any sort of way at all and lets me be, I don't care. Just leave me alone. I want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, that's where I'm at, because same thing, like, I just kind of got to a point where it's like, even if I hold on to things, it's not going to get me anywhere, not going to do me any good. Shit happens. Take it, learn from it, do what you can, move on. And it's like, that's where I'm at. It's like, I'm not going to keep trying to, like, bash on anybody. It's like, I have my opinion. I don't like him. I will say that flat out. I don't. And I want nothing to do with him. But I'll just leave it at that. Like, it's nothing else is necessary.
Yeah, what was it like living with Taylor Holder?
So I didn't live with him, the first off.
You almost, it was basically you were living with him. You were basically living there. Come on now. You were basically living there.
I understand, yes, I was there all the time, but I didn't live with him. I still had my apartment. But it's crazy because I didn't even hang out with him that much. I hung out with Sean and Garrett. Sean and Garrett were my best friends, and that's why I was always there. It's because I was hanging out with them, not necessarily him. But I was just there because everything I did was with Sean and Garrett. Like, we were a little trio at the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, I was just hanging with them all the time, and that's the biggest reason why I was always there. But that kind of gets
Is Garrett talking to Taylor still?
Hell no.
No? You guys both aren't?
No.
Nice.
A lot of us aren't.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Oh, wow. I think loyalty is like one of the biggest factors in any relationship that you have, and how you keep a relationship, because loyalty is just so much deeper than like, okay, I'm loyal. Like, anyone can say they're loyal, but actions speak louder than words. Like,
yes,
come on.
yes.
So like 95% of people aren't loyal, like truly loyal.
Yes.
Because truly loyal people, they'll be there to the fucking day you die.
I mean, it's like,
But I know you know what loyalty means.
oh yeah,
And that's why I fuck with you more than a lot of people out here.
Sure. I mean, because I'm also, even with, I've gotten to a point now with friends, even where it's just like, if you don't prove to me that it's just like you genuinely care to be friends with me, it's like you got my back. I don't want anything. Like, we can be cool, like we can be acquaintances.
Do you give second chances?
See, I am the type where it's like, I'll give you one shot. If you mess up once, okay, I'll keep it in mind. That's the thing. It's not like I brush past it. I keep it in mind, and I have this like little carefulness there. But if you fuck up one more time, I'll be like, yo, like I gave you one more shot to like fix yourself, and it's like you kind of in a sense took advantage of that, and so you just didn't actually try to make an effort to change anything. So after like the second mess up, I'm like, you can't expect me to have your back like you did mine. Like,
exactly.
like I used to.
Exactly.
So,
like it's a two-way street in any relationship. You know what I mean? So I went through so many relationships out here, and it's like, wow, bizarre. I mean, when I first got out here, back to what you were saying, like, you're more vulnerable because you don't have any friends out here, especially in any new environment. And this doesn't even matter. We're not even talking about LA. Like, any new environment that you move into, you know, you go to a new school, you go to a new work environment, you're more vulnerable because you don't know anyone. You're just like, okay, let me just make some friends. But then you come down the line and you're like, whoa, hold on. 95% of these people are fake as shit.
Yes. For me, it's like I've learned, because again, right now, for example, I don't hang out with really anybody. I'm really doing things on my own. It's like I don't even have many people I can like rely on. It's like you, okay, you're one of them. I maybe have like 3 people, not even, that I can like really like be like, they got me if I need anything. Yeah. But now I'm at a point where it's just like, especially going and being through so many friend groups, and it's like having those connections with so many people out here in the past year, and seeing how people go about it, and it's like how I was always kind of tossed aside in a sense. I've really come to like, because those also never led me necessarily to a good position that's good for me. It was always something benefiting them, and it's like I was just dragging myself down a lot. Yeah.
And now,
And
do
it's
you
like-
do you think that you could see all that, and when you meet someone new,
Now definitely,
you
yes.
can see right through it?
Now it's like, yes, because again, like I was very vulnerable, and it's like I was in a very bad mental spot the past year until maybe the past 4 months, but it's like very, very bad mental spot. And it's like when you're fell into a very bad depressive episode the past year, which I didn't even realize fully. And it's like I was getting involved with things that were not leading me in the right direction whatsoever at all. I was being lazy with my things that I need to do for myself, and just putting my full effort into everybody else around me, because I think I look at it now as like I did not want to face the problems I was having myself. And it's like I think subconsciously I knew I wasn't in a good spot, but I didn't want to deal with it. So I was just like, if I help other people, if I just put my effort into it, it'll make up for it. It'll make up for it. It'll be like, so it's like that's, I think, and for a year I was doing that. And so, but then finally I kind of like came to a realization where I was just like, because I just kept falling deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Like I got I would say June to August was awful for me mentally. I was in the worst spot I've ever been. And it's like, even I would say even compared to when I was in that re-up center and stuff, it's like I was having thoughts those 3 months, which was like I've never had in my entire life. I did not think I was going to be able to dig myself out.
Did you have any thoughts of suicide?
I had those thoughts where it was like, what's the point of me kind of being here? Like, is there like, what am I doing? Like, it was kind of like those kind of like, is there really a point of me even being here? And I started scaring myself really bad, because my entire life, whenever I would fall into those drops, I always knew I could dig myself out of them. Because my entire life, even when I was in the rehab center, I never took any sort of artificial medicine to help me. I never took antidepressants or anything like that. It was all me digging myself out by like my own will, being like, I don't want to be in this position. I don't like this. Like, I want to get out. So I've always been able to bring myself back up every time I fall just by myself, and it's like my own mind. Those from June, August, I was freaking myself out because I was so far down where it's like I was even thinking, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to help myself. Yeah. And it's like I have no one around me that's going to help me, and it's like I can't even help myself right now. So I was getting super freaked out because I was like, I might be stuck here. And it's like at this point, it's like, what can I do? Well, how am I going to be able to continue if I get
And it's
stuck
kind of
here?
hard because I've had friends that were in, similar situations. And, I'm a person that loves to help people. I try and give them advice, and it doesn't work.
But
It doesn't work.
you remember the talk we had. We did not talk to each other for like 2 months.
Oh, yeah. It was a while.
And then all of a sudden we meet up again, and I'm kind of like telling you all of this. Next thing you know, it's like, this was when I was talking to you about moving into my own spot more in the valley outside of directly LA. And I didn't want to do it necessarily. I didn't want to go that far out from everybody and everything, but I knew I had to seclude myself to get better. And so the first month I was there, I was like, yay. But at the same time, like, I don't know if I like this. But I knew I had to do it to mentally grow stronger and make myself better. And look at me now, like 3 months later, almost 4 months later.
You're doing great.
I am in the best spot mentally that I've been.
I love that.
Grown so much, matured so much, and it's like just learned and like realized a lot. And it's like I've noticed a lot of my reactions.
So what's the biggest lesson of like a lot of younger kids, they want to go out into the world, they want to like have their own place, they're excited about that, right? But they don't realize like the amount of responsibility it comes with, and having bills under your name, and you have to actually put the work in every single day, because if you don't, you're not going to pay your rent.
Yeah.
So like what is it like living by yourself alone? You're 19 years old. What are the difficulties you had to learn within that?
So I mean, definitely me, I've always wanted to live on my own. I've always been waiting to be able to jump out of my family and just like go live on my own. My parents knew that. They knew I was going to be the first one out. But when I started living on my own, it's like I knew the response. I knew like rent I was going to have to pay, and it's like all that. But realistically, it's like all of those bills and like adding up, and it's like even just small necessities that you need just to like live, like gas for me for my car, and it's like groceries, and it's like all this stuff. I didn't fully realize. I knew how to be smart financially, but then with all those bills getting added on top of it, I was like, whoa. Yeah. This is a lot more than I expected. But also being able, I think the biggest thing is just, again, this is going to sound so cliche and like corny, but I guess I'm just that corny now. But I think the biggest like base lesson to everything, and being able to be successful in anything. And it's like, grow from anything. Not everything's gonna be perfect. It's not like there's not gonna be hard things and things that don't go your way. That's not the point. The point is, if you're comfortable with yourself and secure with yourself, to where even when those hardships come and it's like those stresses, struggles, yada yada, even if you're just in a good mindset with yourself and it's like, trust yourself, it'll work itself out somehow. And it's like, I've also learned a lot to, even when things don't go my way, I don't look at it anymore as being like, damn, like what the, nah, come on, like this sucks. I look at it as like, okay, yeah, damn, like I kind of wanted it to go the other way. It's like, I didn't want this to happen, but what can I learn from this? Where it's like, why did this maybe happen?
How can I adapt now to
exactly
this? Yeah.
So I don't look at things anymore in such a negative way. I more so just try to look at everything in like a growth sort of kind of way. And I mean,
growth mindset is way better than a little like narrow mindset, because if you're small minded, then you're not gonna go everywhere, and that's 100% true. So now, moving forward, you're doing great mentally, you're doing great physically. You just got back from the fucking gym, and you're doing good financially. You're doing great right now. So like, what are you looking forward to in the future, in the next like 4 months?
So I'm starting at my YouTube, and it's like, I know I've been saying that for so long. I was gonna start at my YouTube, but it's just because it's been so hard to start up, because I've been just battling myself, my own mind, and just trying to get myself to the position I'm in now. And it's like, I've been saying I was going to do so many of these things, like clothing line, it's like podcast, YouTube, and it's like possibly try to get into modeling. I'm even thinking about acting now, like just taking some acting classes and stuff. I kept saying I was going to do all this in the past, but the reason it took me so long to actually get to it is because I knew I had to build up to this mindset that I'm at now to be able to actually successfully do all that. So now it's like, since I'm in this mindset, I'm healthy, and it's like, it's just good, and it's like, I'm set on what I have to do, and it's like, things really can't bring me down too much anymore, and I know how to react to things that don't go my way, and it's like, or maybe negative. I know how to react towards them so I don't drag myself down. Now I'm just like, YouTube is going to be a huge one, and I'm super excited to start that. And it's like, I'm in talks about maybe a clothing line even being started up, and it's just like,
let's go.
But my biggest thing now is like, which I am so beyond happy about, is my focus was also switched from how many views do I get, how many followers do I have, to how good is my connection with my followers.
That's literally, I changed my mindset about that maybe like 7 or 8 months ago, because it was life changing for everybody listening in right now. When you could change your mindset to that, it will totally, you could fucking do 10 times more.
Oh my God. But the second I tried, like, because I was always, even when I was going live, I was always kind of switching how I acted. But then recently I've just went live, and I'm just sitting there and talking to them for hours, like actually like talking to them as if they're my friends. I've started responding to some DMs. Like, I've been DMing back and forth with some of my followers, and it's like them asking for advice, and it's like that me kind of just talking to them. And now when I go home, I plan on meeting up, like I'm going to go to one of the malls that are in my area and just like go live, or it's like put it on my TikTok story and Instagram maybe, and be like, yo, I'm going to be here at this time. If y'all want to come just hang out and get food, like whatever, come hang out. Cause it's like, my biggest thing is like, it's helped me so much stay grounded, and it's like being this good mental. But it's like, I'm also getting so many messages about how much it's actually helping them. And it's like, thank you for being so real. It's like so rare. And it's like, stay genuine like this, like please this. So it's like, it just feels so much better. It's just such a better feeling. And I think that just helps with everything just overall. Like it's not like it's just, you have a good connection. It just benefits and helps with everything.
Yeah, that's great advice.
I highly recommend doing that. Like I can't even like express how, I think it's a huge reason why my mental is so good now. I genuinely think it's a huge thing that helped me.
You guys all hear that? I'm actually live streaming right now. You guys see that over there?
No, seriously, like forming this kind of like friendship. Like majority of these people I don't know in person, but I genuinely feel like I have like a friendship with them, and I think that's helped me so much with just my own mind. It's like my own perspectives on myself, and it's like all that stuff, and it's just crazy.
Wow,
I love it.
I love that. Well, to wrap this up, thank you so much for coming on here. You're
Thank you for
amazing.
having
You know, this is why I fuck with you, because you're real. You know, you just say genuine shit, and you care.
yeah.
You actually care about what you do. Like
Oh, yeah.
everything that you do, your brand, everything. Like you care about it.
My biggest thing has always been I've wanted to help everyone, and I know my personality is something, so I want to put that out there, and because I think it could make an effect on some things. So thank you for giving me the chance to do this on here.
Of course,
and
yeah.
you know, thank you for always listening to me constantly talk about nonsense. But
Of course. All right. Well, we're peacing out. Mango out.
see y'all.